Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome into a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp sitting in the host chair for our guy, Hunt Palmer. He decided to take a last-minute vacation, and, nothing wrong with that right before football season, but I'm going to call out our guy a little bit because I was listening earlier this week, and Hunt said, or maybe he told me this in the hallway. I don't remember. I got a lot going on right now. But Hunt said, yeah, I was going to take a vacation, a little bit of a shorter week. I was like, hey, next week's a game week when I come back. I'm like, nope, Hunt, there's a whole 7-day window there. LSU plays in 2 weeks. So our guy, a little bit of a mix-up there. No big deal. We are here. We are rocking and rolling here on this Friday. Taylor Sharp here with you. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali. Jordan?
Yes, sir.
The little man.
What's going on?
He's a month old today.
Oh, wow.
Bro,
congratulations, Razor.
We are flying by.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to be driving.
I don't know how the emotions have been at home today. I did a quick check-in earlier. Okay. Vibes are high. But the month milestone, like, my mom's texting me, oh, my God, I can't believe it's already a month old. I'm like, well, tell me about it.
Yeah, tell me.
No, I know.
I bet I can believe it.
Oh, I was telling Kate earlier, he's long, okay? Like, he was 22 inches at birth.
Okay.
Like, he's a long boy. He's grown out of all the newborn onesies, so we've had to cut the feet out because of the 3-month, which is the next size up, swallow him. Looks like he's wearing a giant pillowcase. So we're in for it. Already out of newborn diapers. He's in the size 1. So, dude, we're rolling.
Are we talking like a future offensive lineman or like a basketball player type of? What are we looking at right here? Like, are we talking like this kid's going to be a left tackle for LSU?
I'm writing it down. Like, we're going to get an NIL deal somewhere. We're going to make some money off this kid.
Sound like a big baby right now.
Right, like you got to earn your keep.
Yeah.
I was thinking tire drills in the backyard at 5, but because he's so long, I'm thinking we bump that up to about 3. I think that's appropriate.
Put a ball in his hand, see if he's going to dunk it.
So, we'll see what happens with that. They said it was like 97th percentile lengthwise, which seems high.
That's like top percent of babies.
So, we'll see.
We're doing baby analytics at the moment.
Well, look, I mean,
it's a Friday.
My best friend, real short. His wife's even shorter than him. Their baby was 21 inches. Mine was 22. So it could all even out at some point. But he was a long boy at birth, nonetheless. Okay, look, we got a lot to hit on today. I mean, too much to where like I am leaving stuff out of the show at this point. We are going to have Preston Guy at 1:15. We're going to talk a little of that TRO. I'm not going to go off on the tangent that everybody else did. I understand this is a week-old news. I want to look at some players that could potentially help LSU because whether you like the ruling or not, they're going to play college football next year because, well, you can sue and get a temporary restraining order and do whatever you want if you're a college athlete. So that is something that is going to occur. So we're going to look in the 2 o'clock hour, maybe some players that can help, maybe a little NFC South preview. Right now, I want to look at a little bit of Saints-Rams. The Saints are out in Inglewood, California to take on the Rams. Game tomorrow, preseason game 2 at 3 p.m. But before we do that, let's get the show started.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
New Orleans Saints, Los Angeles Rams, week 2 of the preseason. Saints coming off of a 24-20 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Rams, on the other hand, well, it was all about Ty Simpson in game 1. He looked really good. So they will play each other tomorrow. I don't care about the result of this or any preseason game for that matter. I want to look at some certain things. So, Jordan, I'm gonna throw this out to you, okay? Some storylines, and you, as a guy who is a lifelong Saints fan,
yep, bleed it.
Tell me if you're gonna be on a. You bleed black and gold?
Yeah, you cut me right open right now.
Mine's red. Mine's red. But
okay.
The quarterback battle between Zach Wilson and Spencer Rattler, does that interest you?
It doesn't necessarily interest me, but it is interesting to say that Spencer Rattler was our starting quarterback week 1 of last year, and now we're in
There's a chance he's 13, man. I mean, Ross put out the report of the joint practice yesterday with the Rams. And look, Shuck's not going to play a lot of preseason. I don't want him to.
Maybe a drive. I'll take a drive, but not this one. Next preseason game.
It was Wilson that was getting the first reps instead of Rattler. It switched from the joint practice to the Cowboys. We'll see what happens. Rattler got the start last week. Does Wilson? I don't believe they've announced the starter yet. I was looking for it right before the show. We'll see. So that's a little bit interesting to me. But okay, kicker battle between Tanner Brown and Charlie Smith. You keeping an eye on it?
Most definitely. I
think Tanner Brown's going to wrap it up. The way all the reports are going, he was 2 for 2. Charlie Smith 0 for 1. Again, a little erratic, but something to keep an eye on. All right, how about this? Bryce Lance was running as high as wide receiver 2 some points in the joint practice this week. We saw Bub Means. We saw Barryon Brown. Depending on how much Bryce Lance play, you keeping an eye on Bryce Lance?
Well, with no Jordan Tyson, you kind of have to just see who's one of these guys. Like, somebody has to step up. So with no Jordan Tyson, I think it's like a free-for-all right now at the wide receiver spot because you said those 3 guys, but a sneaky guy that's been making plays in practice, and he made a couple plays against the game against the Jaguars was Trey Palmer, the guy from Tampa Bay, Louisiana kid. So I think that with Jordan Tyson, that big void missing now, it's like a free-for-all. Like, who wants it bad enough? That's where I feel. So, yeah, I'm all in on Bryce Lance, Barryon, Trey Palmer, whoever wants the job. Prove me wrong. Bub Memes, too. Prove me wrong.
All right, so what's your number one thing? Like, tomorrow, score doesn't matter, obviously. What is your number one thing you're watching?
Definitely watching to see who's going to pop out at receiver, most definitely, because somebody's going to have to pop out. Definitely got I'll say number 2 would probably go towards cornerback. Quincy Riley's injury. Who's going to Martin Emerson's been playing really well. He's probably going to be that guy that steps up, but I'm already out on Yadam. I'm trying to see who can take Yadam's job a little bit. Can Jaden Price step up like he did against the Jaguars? Can he, take that next jump? So if I had to rank it, I'll go receiver, cornerback, and last, definitely got to go kicker. We need a kicker. We're in a dome, and we're still missing kicks. That's a problem. So what happens when you go outside?
Bro, you've been shaky on kicker for a number of years.
Since Will Lutz.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm keeping an eye on. It is not Zach Wilson, Spencer Rattler. It is not the kicking battle. It is not even Bryce Lance. Where my eyes are going to be locked tomorrow afternoon is on the medical tent.
Yeah.
Can we not have any injuries? Let me throw these out for you. Brian Bresee, torn ACL, out for the season.
Yep.
Dylan Radin's also torn his knee, also out for the season.
Yep.
Jordan Tyson, 2 months for a hamstring.
God bless.
Alvin Kamara out for a month with an MCL injury.
Yep.
Quincy Riley just got missed. He just got injured. He could miss time with a groin injury.
Sucks.
You're already paper thin at that position. We're going to get into that in just a second. Devon Vele's been in and out of practice. Aldrich Estime got banged up on Saturday. We'll see what goes with him.
Riley's fault.
Kendre Miller back in practice, but let's be realistic. How long is that actually going to last? I mean, Kendre Miller, I've called him the Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Saints. You just can't rely on him at this point. He's back
Zion
in practice.
Plays at least nowadays. Kendre, I would kill to get 5 games out of Kendre at least. 5 I would kill.
I said this Monday, after the preseason game, before we knew the extent of Estime's injury and Kamara going down, that Kendre Miller had no shot at making this team.
Yep.
As of Monday, I truly believed in that. He was out. A-Chain and Kamara were locks to make this team.
100%.
I thought Aldrich Estime was your number 3.
Easily.
I'm okay with him being 2 at times. He's looked really good. He looked really good the back half of last year. He's looked good in the preseason. Ty Chandler, you saw what he could do on special teams. Kendre Miller doesn't really give you that special teams aspect.
No, he doesn't.
And Devin Neal, this coaching staff drafted, they didn't draft Kendre Miller. Yeah. I thought there was a no shot Kendre Miller makes this team. To be honest with you, we'll see what happens with Estime. I think there's a chance he sneaks back in this and makes this roster one more time.
Taylor, he's 1 touchdown away.
Because,
he's 1 touchdown away.
Kamara's out for at least a month.
Yeah.
And he's aging anyways. What's he going to look like when he gets back from that knee injury?
Devin Neal's hurt, too.
Devin Neal's, he's banged up. Aldrich Estime's banged up.
Yep.
A-Chain's not going to play in the preseason hardly, so...
He shouldn't.
No.
Yeah, he said he shouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
Travis A-Chain, Tyler Shuck, Chris Olave, go put on your sweat.
I'm about to say, we're good.
Go be street clothes Anthony Davis for the preseason. That's what we need. I just want an injury-free report. It just seems like look, other teams are suffering it too. I'm not blind to that. Like there's been a lot of big-time injuries over the NFL. I totally get that. But when I saw Quincy Riley, when I saw that news come out recently, it was disheartening because, Jordan, I filled in, for OTB during the draft, and you came in, and we did the show together, and you and I talked about the importance of corner to me. Look, I think the Saints did a good job by and large in the NFL draft. I would have loved a top 3-round pick at corner. Still think they should have done that. You were already paper thin there. I'm not sure you got a number one corner on this team. I still don't know. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to have to prove that. Maybe Quincy Riley could have been that guy. But now that he's out, you mentioned Martin Emerson Jr. Great. I understand he's played good. It doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me if he has to start, through an extended period of time, just as we hadn't seen it yet. Isaac Yiadom, been there, done that. We got it. We know what the drill is there.
I'm off him.
Dude, you are paper thin at corner. I thought you already were with Quincy Riley. And you brought in Terrion Arnold for a visit, and I know people felt certain ways about that. Well, Seattle's the one that's planning on signing him anyways.
Oh, they already did. Yeah, they locked him up. Yeah, he's in.
And so, if he doesn't play, whatever, they'll cut him.
Yeah.
If not, so, you're not even getting a guy like that.
They got him for cheap anyway.
So, somebody's got to step up. Martin Emerson, if he has a good preseason, might be the most important person in this preseason to step his game up because you got a big hole there. You already kind of had a hole. Now, it's massive. That is one of those positions you can't hide. You can't hide an outside corner.
No, you can't.
You can hide maybe a guy in the slot linebacker, maybe a guy in the slot corner. You can't hide an outside corner. Nah. And now you only have one, and I'm not sure if he can step up and cover a number one receiver consistently.
You know who they played week one, right?
Yes.
Lions. Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra
St. Brown. And Jahmyr Gibbs catching passes out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Come on.
So you definitely need a corner out there. So you need your corners out there.
Oh, and you got Zay Flowers week 2. Congratulations.
Yeah. Jacoby Lane looking all right. So
dude, I'm watching the medical tent this Saturday. I don't care if the Saints go out there and lose this game 35-10. Do not care at all. Can we please try our hardest to limit injuries? Because you can't afford it. I just listed 8 guys right there. 4 of them are significant injuries. There were going to be potential starters on this team. I understand Dylan Radins wasn't a quote-unquote starter. He could have easily beat out Cesar Ruiz. We know what kind of player he is. Everybody's ready for him to walk out of the door anyways. Jeremiah Wright could still do it, but it was nice to have the option of a Dylan Radins. Brzee, starter. Jordan Tyson, starter. Kamara, not a quote-unquote starter, but he's been in this building a ton of years. He was going to play a lot for you. Those are all significant injuries. And then Quincy Riley, they're calling it a groin injury. They don't know yet, but that's an injury a lot like a hamstring that could linger.
Well, it's going to linger all season.
That's something that could turn into I'm out a week, or I miss week 1. I play weeks 2 through 4. I miss weeks 5 and 6. I play that's one that you can be in and out of the lineup. Please stay healthy above all else. It's the main thing I am keeping an eye on here in week 2. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout when we get back. Transition into LSU a little bit. I know we talked a lot of Saints there. We're going to get back to a little bit of NFL football a little bit later on in the show. But coming up every day or every Friday around this time, we have Preston Guy from TigerBait.com. We're going to get to him. I wasn't able to make it out to practice. I haven't actually been able to go to a ton. I've been to 2 practices just because doing OTB, they let the media in at 10 o'clock. I am off the air at 10 o'clock. It doesn't match up. So I've been to a few, but a guy that's been out there a lot more than me, Preston Guy of TigerBait.com. He joins us next here on The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Make sure the power doesn't go out on you. We're going to have some nasty storms blowing through Louisiana, all from the north to the south portion of the state. And when those happen, especially as the weather warms up, you can lose power. It's at the very least annoying. At the worst, it's debilitating for work and sleep. Make sure it doesn't happen. Boudreaux's Electrical can come out, have a local team, install that Generac home standby generator, and make sure that your power does not go off. Evacuate from a storm. You don't want to come back to a dark, hot house with a ruined fridge and freezer. No. You want to come back to a house that's powered. Boudreaux's Electrical can make that happen with that Generac home standby generator. Give them a call at 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. You can do it the easy way. Find them online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 1 here on a Friday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp hanging out with you here. We got Jordan Kitchens and Cassie Spazzali back there on the 1s and 2s, and we are rolling right along, headed towards your weekend. every Friday, 1:15. It's Preston Guy with TigerBait.com. He joins us now. Preston, how are you?
Good. Just leaving LSU practice. It is nice and toasty today, so I'm glad to be with you. You know, the best part about doing this Friday segment is Hunt has about 40 days of PTO, so that means I get to talk to you a lot.
That's true. Hunt takes a lot of PTO. I'll get the you up text at 2 a.m. and I'm like, Hunt, you taking another vacation? He's like, yeah, I'm absolutely doing that. Preston, most important question I ask you before we get to the X's and O's of everything, what was blaring on Lane Kiffin's playlist when you got to the field today?
Yeah, they've been playing like Madonna, Like a Virgin.
Okay.
Basically,
it's a
before
choice.
Practice, every time we get there. And, you know, the thing that I just noticed is a lot of the music is this very, like, pop, 80s, girly music they're putting out there. It's not a lot of, like, Jeezy and NBA Youngboy like these players probably want to hear. Almost makes me wonder, like, is that a strategy? Like, are you trying to make these players uncomfortable for practice by, basically playing Barbie music? That was one of my biggest observations from practice today.
Well, I'm glad I led with that. I don't get to make it to a ton of the morning practices because of the time we get off air on OTB, but I go for the press conferences while they're still practicing. He's a big Kesha guy too. Kesha's a big one for Coach Kiffin.
Yeah, it's certainly quite an interesting music lineup from what we're used to.
All right, Preston. Before we dive into LSU, just let me get your thoughts on this. It was kind of the topic of the day yesterday in the world of college football, the TRO that was filed for some NFL players to come back to college athletics, Jack Pyburn being one of those players for a fifth year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because basically you're in the put the cherries on top phase of building your football team right now, finalizing lineups, and we're having talks about adding God knows how many NFL players to this lineup. There's also a defensive tackle at Ole Miss, the big guy, who, might add some defensive tackle depth. You got Daquan Wright, the tight end.
Yep.
I mean, just a lot of guys who can come in and give an impact in a lot of ways. We're talking about guys fighting for a roster spot on a 53-man roster right now, all of a sudden coming back and playing college ball. It's just a weird world. It's kind of gross, but I guess that's where we are. And you have an obligation once you're $50 million into this roster and $20 million into building a coaching staff. You kind of have an obligation to put the best football field you can once you're $70 million in.
Yeah, absolutely. I get you. It's like you're going to potentially add these guys, but like it could be like 6 days before the first game. So it'll really be interesting to see where all of these guys go. All right, Preston, transitioning more towards LSU. Look, you've been out there on the practice field. How Sam Levitt looked?
He's looked sharp and healthy. He's been very accurate. I'm not going to say he's been flawless all spring because there have been a few throws where, he wished he could have them back. But overall, I think this is what's looking like a really good quarterback. I think that he's going to have a big year, put up big numbers. He looks very healthy and very capable.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And like the fully healthy thing is the most important part. Like we know what Sam Levitt can do. We saw him lead Arizona State to a college football playoff appearance. The position that I'm maybe the most hyped about is because they're so deep. I'm looking at the wide receiver room. I mean, there are a lot of mouths to feed there and a lot of talent as well. So like right now, like Jace Brown kind of seems to be that one constant. But like for you, if there was a top three in your eyes, who do you think those guys are?
Yeah, it is starting to seem like the dust is beginning to settle. Now, obviously, there's going to be fourth and possibly fifth guys who contribute. But your top three right now looks like Jace Brown, Winnie Watkins, and Jackson Harris. It'll be interesting to see if they stick with that throughout, football season here. Because, I mean, there's a lot of guys who have shown you a lot. I mean, Malik Elsie has been impressive. Phillip Wright, Trey Wilson. There's just a lot of guys doing a lot of good athletic things. And I don't know how much distance there is between number 8 and number 1 in this receiving room. I think you've got a lot of guys capable of playing at an SEC level.
All right, Preston, moving from the wide receiver room, look, there's a lot of newcomers, whether it's the transfers, the younger guys. I mean, it's a lot of new for Lane Kiffin's roster. Any newcomers catching your eye?
Well, there's 59 of them.
Yeah.
So basically the whole football team. I mean, that's like one of those things like, all right, do we call Sam Levitt a newcomer?
Right.
Maybe we'll be talking about NFL newcomers in a week from now. But I'll go ahead and talk. One person who's really emerging onto the scene is running back Stacey Gage. Of course, we've all talked about this Lane Kiffin offense, how they like to rely on a heavy hand of their number one back, if they can. And, of course, everybody came into the season thinking, well, that'll be either Harlem Berry or it'll be Caden Durham, right? Well, then Dylan Jones burst onto the super scene in spring, and he looks like your number one running back, right? Well, in Stacey Gage is really coming on strong. In fact, today in practice reps, I don't want to overthink this or anything like that, but thus far the order of practice reps have, translated to who's actually first up. It was Dylan Jones, then Stacey Gage, then Harlem Berry, then Caden Durham, which is just a fascinating development if you ask me.
No, absolutely. Because, to your point, you thought you were set at running back. And then even when Kiffin brings in all these guys, Stacey Gage, Dylan Jones, who you just mentioned, Racine Guillory's another guy. You're like, okay, these are solid depth pieces. They're going to contribute here and there behind Durham and Berry. No, look, if the season started today, everybody says it, said it back in spring, like Dylan Jones looks like RB1 right now. Stacey Gage now making a move. It's fascinating the way he has flipped to that running back room. Preston, we were just talking about wide receiver, how deep it was. Preston Guy of TigerBait.com, our guest right now. So, let's talk about some positions that aren't so deep. In your opinion, what is the biggest hole for this team right now?
Well, Lane Kiffin mentioned last week offensive line possibly being a depth issue. I definitely think defensive line is where you're lacking depth. So, overall, I do think your two weakest positions on both sides of the ball is in the trenches, right?
The good news is, Preston, the games aren't won in the trenches. That's not a thing that people say.
Right, exactly. I'm not saying they're bad, because I think basically everywhere in this roster with the work they did with this transfer portal, basically they don't have any holes in their starting 22. And the freshmen that are coming up, it's not like they have a bunch of walk-ons ahead of these true freshmen. These true freshmen came in and beat out the Filing Green. They beat out Dominic McKinley, right? So, and they were, we're talking about five-star guys and Deuce Gerald's, who was top 50 player in the country, right? So, highly touted guys, but that is still something you have to kind of look at and be like, well, that's a lot of true freshmen. And Lamar Brown's going to be contributing on the defensive line as well, right? But basically you look at all the other groups and you feel pretty good about them. Maybe running back, we'll see what's there. But again, Caden Durham, a guy who has been a starter for you in the past and has elite track speed and he's so very good. If he's looking like he might be your fourth running back, okay, well, then all of a sudden you have to feel pretty good about that spot, right? So basically, the depth and the youth in those two groups is kind of, if I had to call a hole, that's what I'd call a hole. But I think even those groups, they're going to be all right.
Okay, so week one, kicking off against Clemson. Sam Levitt's the obvious answer, but what are you most excited to see from this Lane Kiffin's team week one?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they take this very seriously and they don't let I believe they're 10.5-point favorites in Vegas. Don't let that gaudy spread get you sleepwalking, right? Go out there, look fired up. I think LSU is a substantially better football team than Clemson. I'm just hoping that it looks clean and, they can do what these LSU teams have struggled in the past few years, put your foot on the neck and bring down the axe, separate. See if you can get that, double-digit victory over a quality football team.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com is our guest. Preston, we're going to let you go, man. I thank you so much for hopping on. You actually work on Fridays, unlike our guy, Hunt Palmer, so we appreciate your time.
Of course, man. I'm always here for y'all.
Absolutely. That is our guy, Preston Guy with TigerBait.com. Okay, we're going to take a quick time out. When we get back, I want to transition back to the NFL a little bit. We're going to look at the NFC South. Our guy, Jacob Hester, on the morning show. Look, he's giving me all the tea. He went to 15 training camps over the past 2.5 weeks, 3 of them in the NFC South. He's got a pecking order, not going to be honest. When you look at the roster and the weapons around, I think he actually nailed it. So we're going to talk about that next here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Property and casualty or group employee benefits. Your one-stop shop for all things insurance is, of course, the Highland Insurance Group. If you're a business owner and you don't have a great relationship with your insurance broker, they're just the guy who came with the lowest premium number. That's one way to handle it, but it might not be the best way, especially when something happens. Whether it's a hurricane or a car accident or a cyber breach or a lawsuit or an injury. When that happens, you're going to need your insurance to respond. And if you only have the insurance in place because it was the cheapest one, it may not. Jonathan Carver and his team can be a trusted advisor and a part of your team as a business to make sure that your business continues to run even if the event happens. Give them a call or check them out online, HighlandIG.com. They're right here in Baton Rouge, but they can help you out statewide. It's Jonathan Carver and his team at the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. Look, storm season is around the corner. Maybe you don't feel like you need a new roof. You don't have any leaking issues that you know of. The roof's a little bit older, but you don't see it discolored. It's not giving you problems. But you're a little bit nervous what a storm might do. Well, they don't have to put a new roof on. They can at Lifetime Roofing, but they can come over and they can do a tune-up to reinforce that roof. So you feel like you've got more peace of mind as storm season approaches. It's just part of our life down here in South Louisiana. We know storm season can be rough. We've had a couple of quiet ones in a row. I hope there's 10 more to come just like it. But I think we all know that that's unlikely. If you want to take care of that big investment, which is your house, take care of the people under your roof, which is the most important thing in your life, and want to make sure that your roof is in the best shape it can be to do that, Lifetime Roofing is a company you can trust. They're Baton Rouge-based, Louisiana people, give you a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com.
All right, welcome back in. Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharper with you. Hour number one on this Friday show. Filling in for our guy Hunt, who is out on a vacation doing fun things somewhere where we are all out here working. I mentioned before we went to break, want to shift back to the NFL real quick. Take a look at the NFC South. So, look, even if you're a casual NFL fan, you know the gist of who are the main players on this roster. But our guy Jacob Pester works for SiriusXM, NFL. He went to 15 training camps, 3 of which were the Falcons, the Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he told me, hey, this is a 2-head race going into the season. Like, it's the Saints and the Buccaneers, and I couldn't agree more, and I wasn't even at training camp. When you look at the teams, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, I think it makes a lot of sense for Jake to say that. Okay, the Carolina Panthers. What is their biggest question for me going into the season? It's, can Bryce Young do it again? You heard it all season because I still made the arguments that I didn't think Bryce Young was a good quarterback. And the arguments were, well, he was better. First off, if you have to say you're better, better's fine. Better than worse still isn't good. Last year, 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Great. Awesome. 63% completion percentage. He was better. Absolutely. But I worry about the weapons on that offense. Like, can Bryce Young do it again with a lack of weapons? And Rico Dowdle's not in the backfield, who bailed them out in a lot of games in the back half of the year. Tetairoa McMillan's awesome. But right now, if you go and look at the Carolina Panthers projected depth chart, Tetairoa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker. Now, Jalen Coker was good down the stretch for about the last 5 to 6 games of the season. Awesome. Can he be there consistently throughout the season? Xavier Legette, everybody loved him coming out of South Carolina. And that's a guy they used a really high draft pick on. He hasn't been healthy either. And even when he's been out there, it's been pedestrian at best. I think they got a good offensive line. But, again, I mentioned Rico Dowdle, who I thought bailed him out in a lot of big games. Chuba Hubbard's still there. Wasn't great a year ago. Kind of got passed up even when he was healthy. And they got Jonathan Brooks. They love Jonathan Brooks. I loved him in college. I thought Jonathan Brooks, when he was in Texas, was probably the best running back in college football during his last season. But he tears the ACL his final year, and he really hadn't played 2 years in the league. I mean, this is year 3, and we really don't know anything about him. Can I trust Jonathan Brooks to stay healthy or bounce back and be a full contributor after not playing for essentially 2 full years? I just don't know. Their defense is going to be good. I mean, we know Derek Brown. We know J.C. Hood. And there's guys out there. They brought in Jalen Phillips in the offseason. He's a good player. Devin Lloyd from Jacksonville. He's a good player. I think their defense is going to be fine. But that's going to be a lot of low-scoring games because I don't trust that offense. And I don't trust Bryce Young to be able to do it again. Then you go to the Atlanta Falcons. Tons of question marks there. They might be in the worst shape of anyone in this division. We know quarterback's going to be shaky all year. When you've heard the question asked, okay, we have Michael Penix, who's battled through a lot of injuries. Why would you go get Tua Tagovailoa, who's also battled through a lot of injuries? It makes sense on paper. You got a lefty versus lefty. So if one of them goes down, there's not a huge change in a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, now you have not one, but two quarterbacks that can't seem to stay healthy. Also, Jordan, he talked about when they took Michael Penix, man, they need to address edge. Well, they addressed the edge rusher in a big way. They got two really good edge rushers. Here's the problem, though. One of them out for the year with an injury, and James Pierce, who just decided to go all madman on us in the offseason.
Should be in jail.
He's suspended for the first 8 games. So one of your edge rushers you poured a lot of money into is not going to be there the entire year, and the other is going to miss half the season.
Yeah.
So no quarterback, no edge rusher. Drake London, stud. Bijan Robinson, arguably the number 1 running back in the league. Just got a huge contract. Great. What's the offensive line going to look like? What is your quarterback play going to look like? Outside of those two guys, I don't know. Because like even a Kyle Pitts, I think the loss of Zach Robinson is a bigger deal than maybe a lot of people are talking about as the offensive coordinator. One, he's in Tampa now, so he's at a division rival who I think is going to be better on offense. But also, we waited for years for a guy like Kyle Pitts to break out. Everybody said it was going to happen. Zach Robinson's been there 2 years. All of a sudden, last year, Kyle Pitts looked like that first-round pick that you invested that high draft pick in. He finally looked like it. I mean, 992 yards, just a hair under 1,000. But Zach Robinson's not there anymore. Can Kyle Pitts return to that form under another offensive coordinator? That's a big question mark. Like, basically, outside of Drake London and Bijan Robinson, I have no idea what to expect from anyone on this team. I think they're going to struggle. That brings me to the two teams that I think are going to battle for this division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their biggest thing for me is stay healthy. Remember last year, Tampa Bay started out on a tear. I mean, Jordan, there were people saying that Baker Mayfield was in the MVP discussion, and honestly, he should have been. Like, week 5 of the season, they go to Seattle, the team that won the Super Bowl. They go on the road. They win that game in a shootout. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. They're 4-1 at that point. Their only loss was to the Philadelphia Eagles in a 6-point game. Then they beat the 49ers. They get trounced by the Lions. That's when the injuries started occurring. Then they beat the Saints. Then their bye week. Going into their bye week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-2. They went 2-7 the rest of the way because they were banged up. And then once Baker started battling through injuries, that was it. And you had injuries on both sides of the ball. Like, I think they have one of the more talented offensive line groups in the league. Their starting 5 did not play a single game together as far as an entire 5 unit. Not one game a year ago. If they could stay healthy, talent-wise, they're probably the most talented team in this division. And I think they for sure got the most proven quarterback. Like, everyone wants to say, well, why are you so high on them and you're sleeping on the Carolina Panthers? The Panthers won that division. Yeah, but there was a lot of luck in it. Like, okay, Carolina Panthers lost 3 of their last 4 regular season games. They lost to the Saints 20-17. That's when Tyler Shuck finally started getting things rolling. You beat Tampa, which gave you the lead in the division. Then you lose to Seattle. Then the game for the division, Tampa Bay actually beats you. But because of the tiebreaker, the Falcons lost to the Saints. Carolina won that division. Like, Carolina won the division, but they lost 3 of their last 4, including to Tampa, which, like, Tampa could have just as easily have won that. They had a decent performance in the playoffs. They did a lot better against the Rams than I thought they would. But, I mean, you lost 3 of your last 4 regular season games, including to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who you just barely beat for the tiebreaker. That's not a normal division win. And then finally, the Saints. It's the Tyler Shuck show. Like, we saw Tyler Shuck be awesome at the end of last year with not a lot to work with. It was Chris Olave and a bunch of Uber drivers. I mean, they tipped it. Ronnie Bell, Kevin Austin. Not a lot of teams are knocking on those guys' doors, begging them to come play for them. Even Vele stepped up at the end of the year. Now, you got Chris Olave, Devon Vele, Jordan Tyson if he can ever get healthy, Barryon Brown, who's looked good, Bub Means, who's looked good, who battled through injury a year ago, Bryce Lance, who I love, I think was an absolute steal in the round 4 of the NFL draft. And you got Juwan Johnson and Oscar Delp at tight end. All right, let's not forget Travis Etienne, who you added to go along with an already decent running back room. And you shored up your offensive line. David Edwards, number 1 guard in free agency. You brought him in. You're in a good spot. If you can stay healthy, we talked about the injuries in the first segment. If you can get fully healthy, Tyler Shuck's got everything in front of him he needs to be successful. Can he take that jump from year 1 to year 2? And that's why I think the Bucs and the Saints are battling for this division. Jordan, am I off base here?
No, not really. Still not a believer. Well, outside of bias aside, I'm just never going to be a believer in the Falcons when you have Tua Tagovailoa.
Dude, they might finish 4th in this division.
And Michael Penix, not going to be a believer in that. Panthers, I think they'll be a little scrappy. I don't think they're necessarily out of it just because the NFC South is very weak. I think they'll be scrappy to the end. I think they're one of those teams where, you probably don't want to see them late in the season. Like a good team probably doesn't want to see them late in the season. Probably have a weird L to somebody, to beat like the Packers or something in December. Like, how did the Panthers beat them? But overall, I think the Bucs, obviously them and the Saints are, what and what. I still think the Bucs might have a slight edge, but
I think they're more talented.
Yeah, they're more talented, but coaching still, Todd Bowles ain't really going to move the needle too much coaching wise.
That's the thing. Yeah. That I mentioned health was going to hold them back.
And health too.
Todd Bowles might hold them.
Yeah, Todd Bowles and health, and it's just it feels like Tampa is one bad losing streak away from just you're starting to hear words about head coach getting fired. I just think they're like a bad losing streak away from things just falling on his face.
I'm glad you said that because I've been critical of Todd Bowles, and the pushback is before last year he won 4 straight NFC South titles.
Yeah,
okay,
but it's the South. Like
when he took over, he had Tom Brady coming off of a Super Bowl, and then got to transition into years of Baker Mayfield. So you've had a huge advantage at quarterback because Breeze retires. You still have Brady for another year. You have Baker Mayfield for multiple years before a guy like Tyler Shuck gets there. You're going against guys that don't have any quarterbacks. How hard is it to win that division? You go look at Todd Bowles' total win-loss record, you'll have a different story. I don't care that he won 4 straight NFC South titles. People have clowned the NFC South saying it's the worst division in football for multiple years. And you're barely winning that division with teams that, you can say what you want about Baker Mayfield. You can love him, you can hate him. He's better than the turnstile that all 3 of these teams have had the last 3 years before Shuck hopefully gives you some stability.
Yep. And
you're still barely winning this division. So, no, I'm with you there, but I think it's a 2-man race. I think it's the Bucs. I think it's the Saints. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When I get back,
afloat.
We're going to float, and then we'll be back.
They got deals. Fabry Chevrolet GMC has got some savings for you, and I am going to tell you about them because if you'd like to get by and take a look, you can certainly do it. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can get a 2026 Chevy Silverado at 0% APR financing from now until the end of the month. That's not a long time. You got a week and a half, but 0% APR financing on 2026 Chevy Silverados for 36 months. You can get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 at 2.9 financing for 72 months now until the end of the month. Great deals on Silverados and Sierras, and got some vehicles that are potentially really affordable. Chevy Trailblazer, Chevy Trax, as low as $30,000 over at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if that's the price range you're looking at, go see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They're also online at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com.
All right. Thank you there for that, Hunt. Now we will take a timeout. On the other side, I need Jordan's advice on something. We're talking about that next here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. FABT.com. FABT.com. Bank local. They've been local at First American Bank and Trust for 116 years. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's true. 116 years they've been here, and they've grown to 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. There's always one near you, whether you're around Baton Rouge and Dutchtown or Jones Creek, maybe up I-12 in St. Tammany and Tangipahoa, down the Bayou, St. James, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, over in the New Orleans area, and Metairie. First American Bank and Trust is here in every single decision they make. All the decisions. are made locally. So the people that are making decisions based on your commercial loan, your personal loan, are right here in the state of Louisiana, in Southeast Louisiana. You're not just a line item for somebody who's checking something in Atlanta or Sacramento. Right here in Southeast Louisiana. So stop in one of the branches, conveniently located, 25 of them, or check them out online at fabt.com. First American Bank and Trust.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, welcome back in. A final segment here on hour number 1, a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp filling in for Hunt Palmer. Jordan, I know that you come to me for advice a lot because I'm wise and I give great advice. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, the wise one.
But today, we're going to switch roles real quick. I need your advice on something.
Okay.
Okay, so a fantasy draft next Sunday. Found out last night, got the number 1 pick.
All right.
Now,
how many people?
10-team league.
Okay.
So let me lay it out for you though. It's PPR, full PPR.
Full PPR.
3 wide receivers.
Okay.
2 running backs and a flex, which the flex is normally your third running back.
What position the flex? Flex we can do like
Flex
tight
can
end, everything.
Running back, wide receiver, tight end.
Okay.
So I normally do 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, but I have to start 3 receivers.
Yeah.
In the
You already have
PPR
to
league.
start 3 receivers, yes.
Who do I take number 1 overall?
Well, easily, once you say full PPR, that kind of just like fully solidified. It has to be Gibbs. But I am very intrigued by the 3 receivers. Like, you automatically need 3 receivers, so
I only have to start 2 running backs. Like, I could go 2 running backs, 4
and
receivers.
4 receivers. I would say you would go Gibbs, and then your next couple picks got to be like stud receivers, like studs. You know, maybe you might be able to snag like a. I don't know, do you like to draft Cowboy players, or you like to stay away from the Cowboys?
I'm not drafting George Pickens.
Okay, you already. I'm telling you, I already know you know what I was talking about too.
I like George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb is wide receiver 1 on that offense.
Yeah, but this is you coming back on the back end.
I'm not taking a wide receiver 2. This is my wide receiver 1. I understand Pickens is great.
Okay. So
I'm going to take like a.
How about throw some names out?
Like a Nico Collins or an A.J. Brown. Somebody that could be there at the back end around 2.
A.J. Brown? I'd be interested.
The answer is Jahmyr Gibbs, Jordan.
Yeah.
That's
easily.
who I'm taking.
Yeah. Not even no Jamar Bijan.
I'm glad we agreed because there was no shot I was taking your advice if you said anybody else.
Yeah, nah. I mean, come on, man.
I was just being nice.
Bijan, I'm good.
What's the worst thing about running backs, Jordan, in fantasy football? A negative game script. Do you trust Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, or do you trust Kyle Pitts and Tua Tagovailoa?
Wouldn't even trust him to watch a snail.
Go ahead and give me the guy on what I think is going to be one of the better offenses in the NFL.
Easily.
That's the only answer.
And the main thing about, getting the, because I'm running my dad's fantasy team this year. He's on like a $200 money league, like some crazy. So I'm running this fantasy league this year. And then he loves Jeremiah Love. I'm like, Dad.
No.
He's on the Cardinals. I know he's good. You never want to have a good running back on a bad team.
Well, I don't care. I'm not drafting a rookie in the top 2 rounds ever.
Oh, no, I wasn't doing that because
never
people drafted Ashton Genty and all that. I wasn't doing that. But it's more like, Dad, because he's like, oh, he's a running back. I'm like, dude, he's a running back. He's good. He's on a bad team. So the Cardinals are going to be down majority of their games. They're going to be needing to throw the ball.
I mean, they'll throw to him a little bit, but not.
Man,
it's not going to be one of those week in and week out things.
I'm good. We're not doing that.
Dude, I'm not drafting Ashton Genty this year. I mean,
I don't know who
is his situation better this year than it was last year?
I don't know what I think of the Raiders. Like, I don't really have
their number 1 receiver right now is Trey Tucker.
Yeah, and is Bowers, like, how healthy is Bowers this year?
Bowers was there last year, and they were no good.
No, but he was hurt.
Right.
He was hurt
I get it,
last
but,
year.
like, has his situation improved?
I mean,
has it?
For Genty, I mean, look, if Mendoza, I don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to give him.
Great.
It's like, it just depends. To be honest, a quarterback changes everything in NFL. So if Mendoza, it's hard because you're on the Raiders. It's like being a quarterback of the Browns. Like, you already got the odds in the Jets. You got the odds stacked against you. But if somehow, some way, Mendoza is really this chosen one, this little goofy kid from Indiana, if he's really the chosen one, he could be the one shining light that could change the darkness around the Raiders. Like, he could be the one guy in Vegas that's really not living that Vegas lifestyle.
That was deep. I think I'm gonna take Genty 1 overall. After
don't do that. Don't do that.
Let's transition out of that real quick, but back to something you just said. I almost said Carolina Panthers. They're gonna be bad too, I think. Are the Arizona Cardinals the worst team in the NFL? Because a week ago I would have said no question.
That's a good one, Taylor. I mean, what do you think of Geno and the Jets?
I think the Miami Dolphins are going to suck.
They're going to suck. I don't even know who their receivers are other than it's like Malik Willis and A-Chain. That's about it. That's about it.
You want their starting 3 receivers?
Yeah, please tell me.
Malik Washington.
No idea.
Jalen Tolbert.
No idea.
Tutu
Atwell.
Atwell.
That's from Cowboys, right?
Tutu Atwell.
Rams. I remember him.
And they drafted Chris Bell.
I wanted him on the Saints, but that's a very, if you're a Dolphins fan and you look at that on paper, you're like, we're going to be terrible this year.
Oh, and they gave Malik Willis $52 million, and we don't know if he could be a starting quarterback.
Hey, you got to pay somebody.
So
what's Tyreek Hill doing nowadays?
I think the Miami Dolphins. They have the worst offense.
Hey, Tyreek Hill, you already live down there, so go pick him up, man. I mean, what's the worst y'all can do at this point? You just said the receiver one's Malik Washington?
Malik Washington.
Yeah, okay.
Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell. Those are your 3 top veteran receivers, and then Chris Bell, the rookie.
It's a long season for the Dolphins fans. It's a long season.
Terrace Marshall.
I thought he was going to be so good in the pros, but that's what happens when you go to the Panthers.
2 things. Carolina Panthers and battled injuries. Jalen Reagor. Can I interest you in Jalen Reagor?
No.
Well, he's there as well.
No.
All right. That's going to do it for hour number 1 of the Hunt Palmer Show. Look, we got a jam-packed hour number 2. A lot of football coming your way. 2 o'clock, we're going to do a little Meet the Freshman. We're going to pick that up for Hunt Palmer. We'll lead off hour number 2 with that. I'm going to give you a little bit of thought on this TRO and some of these players coming back to college football. How many of them could actually help LSU? And then DraftKings yesterday put out some Heisman Trophy odds. Sam Levitt, decently high on that list. We're talking about all of that coming up here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First, let's tell you about Ochsner. They've been reminding you all month long, about the incredible things they've got going on over at Ochsner. If you are an athlete or you're just trying to stay active, Ochsner Rangers Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute can help keep you moving. They can get you moving as well. You've got access to the highest levels of specialized care. You've got nationally renowned expertise, the latest equipment, and you've got modern facilities, and that includes the convenient walk-in orthopedic clinic at Elite Training Complex, the Burbank location, when you need care fast. So if you've got a sprain, if you've got a strain, if you've got a minor dislocation, maybe even an ACL tear, sudden ongoing non-spine-related musculoskeletal pain, any of that, you can walk into Elite Training Complex on Burbank without an appointment. They are happy to see you. They've got on-site x-rays, and they can treat those minor injuries for you. So you'll drive by, you'll see Elite. They got the big football field with the goalposts out there. You can't miss it, and you can walk in. It's Ochsner.